Hello and welcome to Thursday, July 31st, 2014 for the Astrology and Tarot report of the day. My name is Nicholas, and today's planet, because today is Thursday, is Jupiter. To align with your Jupiter energy, just think expansion, growth, philosophy, those spiritual-minded ideas, but it's jovial, it's fun, it's expansive, it's learning, it's foreign cultures, it's kind of, it's the kinder, gentler. If Saturn is sort of like the strict, rigid, old man archetype, that yells your way to success. Like Jupiter is the kind of guy who gregariously ushers you in and charms you with his knowledge of the world. So it's more fun-loving and expansive. So if you can, it's a great day to just think about your own religion in particular, or think about a philosophy that you're into, or think about even just something structured like learning. It's kind of higher education. So if you're completely atheist and you're just into computers, you'd go and study computer code or computer systems and understand higher levels of like college education type stuff. So that's one great way to align with your Jupiter energy. The interesting things going on in the chart is, of course, Neptune is going to make a sextile to Neptune. The moon, Mercury is sextile the moon. So at 8 o'clock a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, Mercury is at 29 degrees of Cancer, and the moon is at 29 degrees of Virgo. So there is an easy flowing emotional communication around those areas. You should be able to you get realizations from sextiles because they're two different elements. Mercury is in water and the moon's in earth, but they're making a very easy and pleasant aspect. So it's kind of like that aha moment given to you by somebody you want to listen to, kind of. So look for that emotional, intuitive communication going on, and yeah, it should be refreshing. It's an early morning transit, so it should be setting the course for the day really nice. The other thing that's going on is now it's about time to mention the fact that Jupiter is square Mars. I probably forgot to do that yesterday with all that water stuff going on, but Jupiter's at 3 degrees of Leo, which is a fixed fire sign, and Mars is at 2 degrees of Scorpio, which is that fixed water sign. So it's that extra dose of stubborn tenacity, let me make my point sort of energy with that fixed energy. But then you're combining it with fire, which is going to try to burn off the water, or water, which is going to try to suffocate the fire. So there's definitely that tension between your expansion and your growth. I always like to think of squares as that compelling energy that's you're either going to solve the problem in a square, or you're going to epically fail and it's going to be a bad time. But the thing about a square is, to me, the cycle's not over until the conjunct happens again. So, since the faster moving planet here, of course, is Mars. This is basically the first square since Mars conjunct Jupiter. So this is your first challenge with that philosophical side of yourself. When Mars invigorated Jupiter and when they conjunct, were you learning anything new? Were you expanding in any way? How were you exerting your personality? How were you bigger than life? Now this is the square to take that initial learning, and you need to. This is a way to be successful at it. This is going to be the first challenge to how you're growing in that way. So the biggest deal is, this is, once again, this is a forecast, so this isn't specific to your chart. So just know that this energy is abounding out there in the universe. To understand your role in it, you need to have your own copy of your chart and see how these planets are acting in the houses. What aspects are they making to the other planets? And then you'll have a deeper understanding of how this all relates to you better. But this can be an external power struggle that you're seeing, this expansive fiery energy wants to do and expand that way, but the water energy, the Mars, is saying, no, you're going to listen to the emotional side of these things, and you're going to listen to me now before we can go forward. Look for those kind of dynamics in the day-to-day, because that's what's happening with this transit. So Now it's time to do the card of the day. So, I mean, the only thing to help you, I think these are helpful. I mean, the big theme that I'm seeing going on for the week, how is this playing out? How are all these transits affecting you? What's the story in the sky in more of an overview sort of way? Just reading these transits every day and telling you the daily forecast isn't enough. What's the stories and the plot lines that are weaving? So the continual plot lines that I'm seeing, of course, are some of the things I haven't even given you yet, because Venus hasn't made that exact grand trine yet, but it's coming up. So that'll be in the report for Friday. That's a big thing coming up. But the big themes to me, these slow-moving things like that Saturn in conjunct Uranus. What does that mean? Two very slow-moving planets staying in conjunct to each other for so long. The revolutionary, the insights, the creative idea, learning from those creative ideas and be able to integrate them in a structured way, there's a breakdown there. The status quo, not wanting to, is getting a little scared to touch it, or not wanting to touch it, not being able to see it for what it is. That's the big story that's been continuing on. But how does that play into the Jupiter-Mars square? I mean, basically Saturn is aligning with Mars energy right now because Mars is getting close to Saturn. So astrology will help weave that story so you understand that since Mars is aligning with that, there's going to be more energy and more vitality and more power behind what the authority figure is saying right now as Mars gets closer to Saturn. So that's just something to be on the lookout for. Alright, the card of the day, we got this last week, is now the Five of Rainbows. And the rainbows in the Osho deck is definitely an earth sign. The Five of Rainbows is a child looking outside to the beautiful world that it wants to be in. It feels like it's guarded on the outside, but of course, I mean, it's guarded on the inside and can't get to where it wants to be, can't get to where it is. And as you realize, the whole metaphor for all this is you're just locking yourself inside, because the lock, as you can see from the card, I don't know how else to do that, but the lock is actually unlocked and the child doesn't realize it. The lock is not latched. You feeling like you're an outsider is preventing your material success today. If you can just align with other people and feel that five is about creativity, it's childlike, it's about fun, it's about joy and pleasure. If you can align with that and realize that you're not an outsider today, that all of that pain that you started out with that aloneness, all that stuff was helping you. You know, you start out with the aloneness on Monday, then you're feeling the sorrow from that on Tuesday, then you had the breakthrough on Wednesday, and now Thursday you're supposed to take that lesson, join others, and feel the joy. So, I hope this was helpful. My name's Nicholas. Please visit my website or book an astrology session with me at www.nicholasstewart.com/astrology.